This is what my hairpiece looks like in broad daylight. I just put some water through it and brushed it back. It's got some muck in it as well. Cleaned up the neck. I'm gonna go to the pub for the first time in a long time. I'm gonna meet some people, which is good. The reason I've brushed it back like this is because all the hairstyles I was trying to do with my bare hands ended up being extremely messy. So this will give it a chance to sort of straighten. If it's not ready by the time I get there, I'll put my hat on. Okay, so I've walked about 2Ks now. What's that like? Legally, we're still supposed to be wearing these things. Oh fuck, look at the back of my head. How embarrassing, look at that thing. Okay, so this is the Hairbro hairpiece. And I can tell you right now, I just threw out a handful of hair that had come out in the shower. I'm just trying not to pull on it because this is my last hairpiece before my next batch of 0.06 mil hairpieces arrive from Lordhair. And I will show them to you hopefully very soon. I ordered them about a week ago. They ran out of 0.03 millimeter poly, so I have to get the 0.06. It's just coming out non-stop, this hair. This wasn't just from the shower. I've been sort of trying to avoid pulling on it, but the moment you get in the shower, you can see how loose they are. Now, in this situation, when your hair is shedding so badly from a really bad hairpiece, this is the hairpiece where I could only get the front half. Even though the stitching was good on the back, they had that Auschwitz tag in fucking a full squeezed octopus right on the back, so I had to throw that away. Acetone melted it, couldn't get that fucking ink off. Somebody wrote in the comments that I should have been gentler, but if you go with the acetone, if you go back and watch how lightly I was touching it, alright, I wasn't being rough. That thing melted with acetone. You cannot use acetone on poly. It's just, this person says they did, but I don't really know if that's true. If they do it, it's watered down acetone. It's not real acetone. Maybe that's what I should have done. And she says she does it on every single hairpiece she's got. Or him, I can't remember if it's male or female. You are the male or female who wrote that. Thank you for writing it. Please give us more information about how the hell you got the ink, the Auschwitz tag off. If you're a hair company, why would you do that to us? Don't you love us anymore? And what the fuck's this shit? The hair's just pulling out like no grip at all in the poly. It's fucking insane. This is not as bad as that lace hairpiece I got from Lordhair. The rectangle custom one that took 7 months delivery time and manufacture. And now they're refusing to make rectangles anymore. It was a real salvation for partial wearers. I mean, I'm sure somebody's willing to make it for money, right? Money is usually the reason people work, isn't it? So I would think that there's a possibility that someone in the world will do that. Got a notification email from some other company saying due to the COVID situation, a lot of workers aren't able to travel, the restrictions everywhere, so they're saying what I was saying in my previous video about the worldwide shortage on hairpieces. They're running out of stock left, right and centre, less workers, etc. I don't know when it'll go back to normal, don't know. I did get 6 pieces. As I've told you, with the Lordhair pieces, the front section is very good on the poly, but the back is just zigzags everywhere. They don't give a fuck. Whereas the Hairbro one, it was nice straight lines. I could have used the back section at the front as well. 2 partials out of 1 hairpiece. That's what I expect. So Hairbro showed that you can stitch in that way. Obviously, they don't grip into the fucking poly properly because they're fucking falling out. And of course they decide to just get a fucking octopus to go onto the fucking back half of the whole thing. Which, by the way, if you are wearing a Hairbro hairpiece right now, how are you not aware of that? I hope it's fucking heavy duty density so people can't see through their hairs into your scalp, because they'll think, were you made in China? What's going on with that? Fucking hell. It's insane. Anyway, given this is my last poly piece and I'm only left with the shitty hair pieces from that lace cutout thing, I'm out of hair. This is an emergency that I'm getting these 6, okay? It's an emergency, because otherwise I have to go into the bag. I think I've shown you the bag. This is the fucking bag. The bag is where all the hair pieces go to dye. And they are some pretty messed up shit. And it doesn't smell good either. In here, no, it's not a good smell. It's not extremely bad. It's more like a hair smell, not like a head fucking bacteria smell. But they do look like head bacteria, don't they? Imagine trying to clean that. Probably doesn't even fit. It's probably from the last generation of hair pieces that I had when I used to shave to only there. But now I shave back to here, so there'd be a gap. A big sliver of just scalp with no hair in it, unless I pushed it all the way back, in which case my forehead would be this high. That's the bag. Don't want to have to go in there. Try to put two next to each other and hope nobody will notice. Just have overlapping hair pieces that in total meet here and here. Don't want to have to do that or wash them ever. That's why I don't fucking go to all that effort. Once every 2 weeks, I'll fucking take the whole hairpiece off and I'll fucking wash the shit, right? Clean it on the back. With poly, I'll do it. With fucking laser wire, I'll fucking just throw that out after 2 weeks. Or I'll just apply more glue over the top of the old glue, thinking, well, at least it's created some sort of little poly layer of old glue now. Paste some all over the top of it and slap it back on. Easier, but still fucking dirty, especially along the front hairline. Lace is only good for days 1 and 2, that's it. Yeah, but lace looks so more realistic. Show me day 5, bitch. Show me day 5. Fucking liar. Alright? Look how thinning out this is. Not too bad yet, but fuck, the amount of hair that's just pulling out of here, it's pretty fucked up. So I'm really needing, so you can see that doesn't look like a good hairpiece anymore, and it didn't in the first place. You see those lines? Some of them are sparsely, because like you pull out a chunk like these, right, and then that could have been the 6 hairs that were there at the front, and that's gone now. Got some dirt marks there as well from not cleaning up the front bit properly. That's my fault, not the hairpiece's fault. But just the fact that they're falling out, the very straight fucking unbleached knots. I didn't bleach it because there was only one of them. I would have bleached along the front line, which I usually do, because I haven't started at this point back in history in this video. I have not yet begun to try to take a hairpiece and just dip it, a poly hairpiece, a blonde one, and just fucking soak it, drown it in brown hair dye. And hope that it matches. Because I can't even imagine what it would be like to try to do it while it's on my head. I want to just take a bunch of hair pieces and just dunk them all in hair dye or clothing dye or whatever dye does not affect the base. Now you're saying, but how is that making the roots invisible? Well, if my reasoning is this, and I think Ben Benson once again said that, I think it was Ben, could have been poorly sounds. Sorry for miscrediting, but this line, look, most of those lines that you see that are part of the bad roots of a poly system are sandwiched inside the poly. So if the dye does not penetrate in there, those lines will remain blonde and every hair will look like it's just coming out brown, out of skin. That's what it would look like. So potentially, if the base does not get discolored, which it fucking will, of course it fucking will. How can something that spongy not absorb the color? And if it does, then I don't know how to dye hair that's not on my head. I don't even know how to dye hair that's on my head. And avoid the roots, like 1 millimeter above the entire thing. It's got to blend, it can't have different. It can't have it more blonde coming up the roots than here with my natural hair. It's got to match that, you know? I don't know how to do it. The best solution, if it works, it might have to come down to temporary hair dye on blonde or something. I don't know how to do it. At any rate, I'm really fucking praying. Is that how you pray? Dear Krishna, I really hope that this fucking doesn't discolor in hair dye, but it sounds impossible. Most things would just change to the color of the dye. That's what dye is good for, isn't it? But if it's only designed to stick to fucking keratin or collagen or whatever the fuck this shit is, maybe it only sticks in there and then it washes off everything else miraculously. I'm sure if I got dye all over my... Why do they make you wear gloves? Because your fingers would get discoloured for days, that's why. But it's only days. Okay, but it's... You take the fucking hair pieces, you dye them, you fucking brown them, the blonde ones, with nice fucking stitched in all directions, no Auschwitz tags at all. You take them after they've been dripping in fucking that shit, you rinse them underwater, and you chuck them all in the washing machine on cold rinse with no soap or anything. Or you might have to put soap on, I don't know. Without the hot water to sort of distort or warp or melt or anything with the fucking whatever. Maybe it's a bad idea to put in the washing machine, it's a bit rough in there, isn't it? Especially with the spin cycle and shit. You know, be a good test. Probably not a good idea, but still worth trying. Then, potentially, the dye will stay in the hairs, but be rinsed out of the bases. Obviously, the bases will be white and a bit bloaty until they dry, and then after that, check them up against the light. Oh no, they're fucked. But hopefully they're good. Hopefully it doesn't even need that much effort. Maybe just... Okay, maybe you just fucking have to put this thing on a dome if it's a fucking dome-shaped thing. I would not cut them out all in advance, then place them all down. And then potentially get some kind of brush thing and scoop out a bit and just brush, maybe a comb and a brush, so you could just wipe a bit the side of the brush so you can splay it, you know, fucking along the hair with the dye colour. And in that way you're somehow using your technique to avoid the roots a bit. I don't fucking know. Because I can't think of a dipping machine. What I'd do somehow is wet all the hairs, tape the fucking base onto something, turn it face down with the hairs weight pulled down by the water that they're wet by, okay? Grab some sort of clasping mechanism that equidistantly grabs the hairs and keeps this bit flat. Disconnect the stickiness from this side, flip this upside down into a bucket or bowl of hair dye, but with, let's say, 20 hair pieces at a time. In my house, in a factory you do 1,000 at a time, right? But in my house you do 20 at a time, whatever. Dunk it down, just let it sit there in the bowl, I don't know, half an hour. It is saturating in, it's a bowl of it, right? Saturating in, and then you just leave a millimeter gap if you can get it that accurate. You need the bowl to be deep enough. If you could potentially put weights on the hair so it doesn't float in the water and start going back up, you probably need to get some sort of hair fucking squishy, what do you call them? What, you know, some people use those things instead of this. What is it fucking called? I don't know. Anyway, it's a clasp. Grabs on the hairs, gives some weight to it. The hairs are sinking down through the fluid in there. We got the flat table bed thing. You've measured the bowl up to the line, which you've pre-made the bowl and the plate that it's stuck to, and then it's going in. The bucket's deep enough, filled with, that's a lot of fucking hair dye, but yeah, that's a lot of dye. Waste of money, isn't it? That's one problem. Potentially we have a fucking bowl, normal size bowl, put the dye in there. It needs to be liquefied, not creamy, so the hairs will go in. Right? They squish around a bit, but not so much they're going to fuck up the root system. You'll watch it go in, you know the hair's going down a certain amount, they're going down like that, being dragged down by whatever weights are sort of holding, hopefully pulling them down a bit at least, and they're squished in there somehow, and then it'll get dyed to the line. There'll be some creepage of the brown hair dye going up towards the blonde 1mm gap, because this, don't forget, is a blonde hair piece. And then you pull it out and just leave it dripping over here somewhere clean, or a bath or something, right? Then you get the second hair piece, which has already been prepared with that sticky thing, and you dunk that one down the line. Don't have to do it slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're hanging on the drying rack you built as well, of course, with, you know, some way to drain it over a bath, let's say, shower even. multiple dripping down on each other, but you wouldn't want it to drip onto the base of the one below it. So you might have to only squeeze in like a grid pattern of say 9, 16, whatever, right? And they're all just dripping down into the shower. You can keep the shower running a little bit so it doesn't permanently stain the floor of your shower or whatever, but I don't think it matters how much in the shower. I don't know, just let it drip, waste water. After 45 minutes, turn the shower on, cleaning it, right? Grab them, do that. I don't fucking know. I shouldn't have to do this. It's an obvious thing for them to have started from the beginning of fucking making hairpieces. Oh no, that's not gonna work. That looks like doll's hair. You see that bit at the join there? You can see the roots. The roots don't look real. We need to make it look like the hair's actually coming out of the head. But if we dye the roots, yeah, it doesn't work. So let's keep going, guys. Keep going with the eyes. Blonde, and then what? Oh, you just dye from above the root. All right, that just worked. All right, let's do that forever. Right? That's how they should have started it in the beginning, in the old Andre Agassi fucking days. Shouldn't they have? Isn't that fucking obvious? I guess they only lace, but still, the lace is blonde at the base too. Fucking dip that shit exactly the same method as I just said. What the fuck is the problem with that? Oh yeah, well the bases seem to be fucking inheriting the dye. Okay, how about this? We can't avoid them getting all fucking mucked up, right? We can't avoid them getting mucked up. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to dip the bases right to the 1mm line in fucking Vaseline or some shit. Something that's going to coat it so it's unaffected by hair dye. Then we're just going to grab it in a ball and just shove it down in the dye. 1, 2, right? The Vaseline or whatever the fuck chemical that doesn't let the fucking dye get in there is all over the shit on the base only, so it doesn't fucking do anything to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, this is a machine. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. Let me know when we reach this 60 million, alright? We'll have them out by 9 AM. Fucking done. Who are running these fucking companies? I'm gonna just fucking wait till I get my 0.06 millimeter. I mean, that sounds thin anyway, doesn't it? We're talking about 6/100ths of a millimeter. Obviously, if it was a millimeter, I think you'd fucking know about it. Alright, anyway. Alright. 1 millimeter is about probably a bit wider than my thumb fingernail in terms of its thickness. I'd say that's about 0.7 millimeters thick, maybe 0.8. But yeah, let's say it's 6/10 of a millimeter. 0.6 millimeters. Now I'm going to get one that's 10 times thinner than my thumbnail. That's the hairpiece density. It still seems a lot thicker than paper, doesn't it? But I don't think it will be. I think it'll be alright. I just want some fucking shadow along there. These fucking fields, like agriculture is happening on my fucking head. Anyway, somebody solve the problem for me, please. Film it, send me the spec sheet or the fucking 3D printer files and send them to everyone for free, please, do it. Or fucking build it and sell it and I'll buy it and then you'll be rich. Either way, don't mind. I'll pay you for time and effort to do it. And then I'll probably just copy the designs and put them out for free for everyone to just download and print off a printer. No, make it out of something like metal or something so we can't print it. Right? I just styled my hair with this stuff. And just lost this. I can't be seen in, I don't know if you can see how bad that fucking looks, but I can tell you right now. Let me just switch cameras. I'll turn the fucking thing around. Doesn't matter. I think you deserve to say a 4K. It's gonna be 4K. I'll just publish it 1080, but it'll be a better lens. I can go right in, like, because that's blurry. So I'll change phone direction. I won't be able to see what I'm filming, but it'll work anyway, don't worry. Alright, I'm gonna kind of just trust this is lined up. I need both hands to sort of show you what's going on here. Once that's dirt, I haven't cleaned that up mostly. But if I style my hair, right? Hopefully you can see that in a wide shot. Just like mid shot. And come in here. Even doing that, I just lost a bit. It's just, even running your fingers through your hair, the hairs just pop out, right? Straight away. Look at that shit. You see that? So I'm gonna go out. By the looks of it, I'll have to wear a hat now until my other hair pieces arrive. Because Hairbro, my first impression, this is the hairpiece they sent me, the second one, right? Because they didn't respond very fast to the wrong color, because their color swatches on their website are way off. So I ordered the wrong color, and then thought, fuck, I'll just try number 4. This is good color. Unfortunately, being made by a bunch of chimpanzees who aren't fed enough peanuts. That is some bullshit right there. That's hat wearing territory. It's not like I'm deliberately trying to pull hairs out to prove my point. I promise you, I need this fucking hair to stay on. I've got to wear this as my only hairpiece until another one's come. It's not like I leave the house very often, but I do occasionally leave the house. Pimples. Even though it's COVID season, probably forever, we're just all going to get vaccine, hopefully get herd immunity, and those who are not immune will catch it. Maybe that will give them some resistance afterwards if they survive. Don't know what's going to happen. It seems worse than the flu, but maybe on par with pneumonia. But imagine if pneumonia was as common as the flu. That would suck, wouldn't it? You know, in Africa they've had things like malaria and terrible shitty fucking things like AIDS all over the place for years, and we've gone, yeah, but that's in Africa. The Africans weren't thinking that. They're thinking, it's fucking here, man. What the fuck are we going to do? There's fucking AIDS everywhere. What are we going to do about that shot? And the mosquito just bit me. Fuck, I'm dead. Right, but we've just been like, oh yeah, where do I buy my ice cream for less money? Where do I get my hair pieces for a better deal? Why isn't this 20% coupon not? Why is this 20% coupon not working? These are legitimate concerns. I promise. I think they are. We don't have to compare with the worst case scenario. Like little Jimmy one day was walking through the woods and a bad man shadow came out, and he woke up and he didn't have any arms or legs. Plus he was blind and his tongue was removed, because that guy thought he was the son of the woman who fucked his best friend. But it wasn't, it was some other kid who didn't even know that kid. So the woman who should have been grieving never knew about it, and he shot himself in the face moments later. And that kid was just stuck there. Oh! And nobody ever found his body. He starved to death because the guy tubes in him to keep him breathing and shit. You know. But this never happened, by the way, but it could have. And that's the worst case scenario. But imagine suffering like that for many years. Like, torture is bad, but years of torture is worse. It's like when you go outside and somebody says, it's fucking freezing, aren't you going to put a jacket on? It's like, no, it's not too bad. You just come out from the fireplace, you cunt. This guy's been fucking out there for 3 days. Like, you can see icicles melting into, fucking frozen into his beard. He's fucking dying. Like, he should be dead. If you don't fucking give him some more immediately, in the next 10 seconds he will be dead. And you're like, no, it's fine. It's nice out here. Anyway, just came out for a smoke. I only 1.5. Do you want the rest? Alright, so. Right, he's dead now. You fucked him. Because your life is so luxurious. Because you're not aware of the longevity and how that affects you in terms of pain. Because you're a fucking privileged piece of shit. So I think this is what I propose, really, seriously, honestly, okay? Just so that we can appreciate what it's like to be maybe considered, you know, ridiculed, to have people discriminate against us. Like, for example, in America, there's a big deal about, you know, black people are treated worse than white people. So here's what you should do. If you are a good-hearted person and you want to relate properly, so you don't have any more racism at all, what I think you should do is get some clothing dye, or even hair dye probably will work. I don't know how much it sticks to the skin, but it would work. Make it very dark as ebony if you can, because those people probably get treated the worst. I think in terms of the graph of mistreatment, it would go white, 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 yellow, beige, fucking tanned, brown, dark brown, ebony, fucking. They would be the ones to get lynched first. So you should therefore just just do shoe polish all over. Probably just the face isn't enough, just so you can get that feeling of people mistreating you for a while. That's the kindest thing you can do. But for now, I'm gonna have to walk around this fucking hat, right? And be a partial baldy. Potentially, if this dried, it would have some more cover for me. But I don't want to put anything more solid than spit through my hair right now, because the moment I put my hand through my hair, the fucking hairs come out, right? It's crazy. Let's hope Lordhair does a better job than Hairbro. I went out the other day with my cousin, female. She was the girl in one of those previous videos, right? I think it was called A Second Opinion or something. Yeah, she notices. There've been some comments from people saying, "Don't worry, bro, nobody notices except us because we're in the hair wearing community," or something, right? No. Like, she knows because I couldn't be bothered doing. Remember when I said fuck, that's balding. That's fucked up hairpiece, isn't it? You see those lines there? So basically, this is multi. Look at that. This is the Hairbro piece. Yeah. Do not buy from Hairbro. Just don't use that company. Insane. They gave me a quote in wholesale, like just in case I wanted to buy and sell hair or whatever. $150 a piece. No fucking way. If I'm gonna get 100 hair pieces or whatever, I'd get them for $100 or something, right? No, I'm gonna pay 150. All right. Anyway, so she said, yeah, I went out with her and her friend, and she was a bit embarrassed for me, even though I was unaware. Well, I didn't care. I was feeling depressed and shit, and I went out anyway. So get out of the fucking house. Oh, come on back. And she said, yeah, I could see. I thought your hair looked good. Okay, I thought your hair did look good, but there were lines or something going on. I said, yeah, I didn't bleach the front. So I just looked back. I don't know why. Oh yeah, somebody commented on one of my videos, and I looked at what the comment was, and it was from a video from 3 years ago. And even back then I was saying, you got to start with a blonde hair piece, but people don't do it, companies don't do it, and then dye over the top of that so the roots remain blonde. That was years ago, and I always kind of knew that. And then people started pointing out, you know what they should do? They should start with a blonde hair piece and then dye after that so the roots remain blonde. I'm like, that's a good idea. It's just obvious, isn't it? People come up with that concept on their own because it's obvious. Everyone just thinks, well, why don't they just start with a blonde hair piece and then and then dye to whatever hair color people will need afterwards so that the roots remain blonde. Maybe they just don't want to maybe they don't want to be careful in dunking it, or they don't want to brush it on nicely and keep the roots nice or whatever. Maybe that's the reason. And I think you're right, that is the fucking reason. They can't be fucked. Thankfully, salvation is here. Let's hope that Lordhair's done a good job this time. 6 new hair pieces. 0.06 millimeter poly. Do you think that the poly thickness has something to do with how easily hairs plop out? I mean, do you think that it just breaks because it's so thin? Given that it's 0.03 millimeter poly and you know it's front and back, right? They stitched through the first layer of plastic. That must be, let's say, 0.015 millimeters thick. And then they've got a slam on the back end to hold those V's from coming out. So that's got to be 0.015 as well. Unless they're bullshitting us. They could be right. If you use one of those, like, freaking, what are they things called? You squeeze it and it just tells you the micrometers or whatever. They would, but then the thing is, it's rubber, so it's going to squeeze further in, isn't it? The more you squeeze it, it's going to get down to 0 if you want. Anyway, you'd have to have a special machine, I think. Not something you buy from the hardware store. Alright. To measure it, I'm saying. It's not, it's a scientific, almost, unit of, not unit, it's fucking, it's small, alright? This is wispy. This is wispy hair, I can see it straight away. Wispy, thin, but it didn't detach. Interesting. Okay, so my imagination says that the corpse they pulled this from was young. Or the slave they pulled. This feels very soft. You know how it usually clumps around. Let's hope that that softness is not due, and I've seen this before, to low density. Low density is bad. I need medium density to give me the coverage. I don't want any of that shit happening. People can see the plastic. I look like I've got, I don't know, I'm going through chemotherapy. So let's have a look. This, can you see the wispiness of those hairs? It's very light. It's lighter than I expected. No, my hands got no hairs on them from the previous hairpiece that I've been doing that from. So let's just see if this sheds by default before I even have a shower. No, that didn't happen. No hairs came out. No, it didn't. It didn't release. That's alright. That feels rougher and thicker than usual. It's 0.06 millimeter. It feels quite thick to me. Note the Auschwitz tag is small. And yeah, practically almost matches the color of the base. Still, I would rather it didn't exist, but fuck it. Much better than what came with this piece. I would throw the entire other half out. This feels thicker than 0.0 millimeter. Listen. So we're talking about durability now. Potentially a completely unusable front hairline though. I'll have to wait and see. Now with Lordhair, traditionally they make the front half. You can see where that plastic fluffy bit, that little vaginal opening plastic there. That one, that side is usually, you know, straight lines by, you know, like fields of wheat. The back is from Lordhair. They just go, yeah, don't give a fuck, and the back. So I'm assuming that's what they've done this time, which means these back halves, I'll have to keep in this sort of almost like a separate box because they will always look shit. But I was desperate, like I said, and I didn't have time to shop around. This is color number 4, 0.06 millimeter poly from Lordhair. So I'll cut that and that with my stencil times 6, so I'll get 12 partials. 6 ones that will match the front, which will go nice in one direction because they always do it properly at the front. And then there'll be 6 that I'll cut from the back, which I'll try to avoid using, especially if I'm ever gonna be seen by anybody other than people from a distance through my apartment window. So they can see it from a distance. I like, I don't wave to fucking neighbors in apartments. But yeah, 0.06. Let's have a look at this front edge so you can get a perspective on this. Yeah. Feels a bit thicker. Well, it's double what I'm used to, but yeah. I don't know what GSM stands for in terms of paper, but that's what they're talking about in terms of this. 0.06 millimeters polyurethane base. I'll cut them up. Just let me see if I can see through the directions they've sewn here at the back. See, Hairbro put a square there and then went all the way back. That was great, but they fucked up the hairpiece. But this one, don't know. It actually does look a bit promising. It looks like Lordhair. It looks like Lordhair have surprised me and gone straight down. That's just, ooh, this would be good if that's what it was. But then again, if 0.06 is too thick at the front, anyway, I'll get on with it. I'll go and cut them up now. When you're chopping these things up, these are some offcuts here, all wasted. These are center crown directional, go out in every direction kind of bits that I will maybe store this time. They're not big enough for me to make any hair pieces out of, but they would go out in every direction anyway, so they're not really much use to me. So I've cut these ones over here. This is my pile of completed ones. I've kept these Auschwitz tag back ends, so I can at least try to get 2 pieces out of every hairpiece. Because as you probably are aware, I wear partials. Just noticed that against my finger there. I've got to cut that bit off. See that that bit of marker that's still on the plastic. And what happens, given that's going to be the front, because that's the most likely, that will be the front hairline, that's the most likely direction the hairs will be coming out, and they are, because you know the hairpiece is made that way. You should still also be aware that at the back here, you might want to trim off a little bit of extra plastic after you've gone through it with scissors, because that's a visible part of the hairpiece that you don't want people to see. You can see the directions altering. Oh, I should turn this light down a bit here. Just getting a bit too flared out. So you can see the V loops just going in like that all over the place. Now my supposition was that you could just dye the whole lot, because it's only the lines that are under the plastic that create the problem with the roots being too visible. But I think potentially you would definitely need to keep some of that blonde on top as well, not just what's underneath inside that plastic area. If we try to look closely at what's happening inside the 2 sandwich pieces of plastic here, there are small amounts. It's hard for you to see, I think, but you can see the lines where there's only like, I don't know, 0.5 millimeter at the tip of every fold, at the tip of every V that's in there. And I think the roots need to be bleached along there as well, because otherwise you would see that a hair is doing that, and you don't want that. You want a hair to just come out of your head like that, right? So I'm cutting this one. This is the front of the official front of the 0.06 millimeter poly hairpiece right now. Now I just want to show you that when you are cutting these out, it's better to cut the thin bit first, because this, I have a lot to hold on to back here. But if I cut that off first and I'm just left with this part, then it's hard for me to get a hold of everything when I'm cutting out this front bit. So I will start by cutting this front edge off first, because at the moment I have a lot to hold on to. And when that's done, I'll still have a lot to hold on to when I cut out that bit. So it's easier to cut the front edge off first. So you can hold it. Make sure you don't cut the hairs. See how the tip of the blade is just making sure it goes through the gaps in the hairs where possible. Now some hairs will be snipped because it's sort of impossible to avoid that. But given that I've got a lot more to hold on to at this point, it's a lot easier. But it's still, this is the most difficult edge here to cut. Because it's, you know. Anyway, I just want to show you that. I'll continue cutting around that front edge there first, and then I'll cut out the back part, and that'll end up being like those ones over there. And then after that I've got 2 to go. So far, by the way, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hair pieces. That'll make it 8. And those other 2 over there will make it 12. Now you'd think, okay, well it's 12, and you wear them for a month each. That's 12 months supply, potentially. That's a year. But yeah, like this Hairbro one I'm wearing now, I don't think it'll last a full month because, you know, sometimes hair pieces are dodgy. I just really hope that these all serve their purpose. Obviously I don't want to wear a back half one, like one with an Auschwitz tag like this, for an entire month if I have something important where I want to sort of brush my hair back. I just really hope that the direction of the sewing in this particular 0.06 hairpiece has been sewn nicely this way, in which case it could actually become a fairly good hairpiece. This Auschwitz tag here, let's just test what that looks like against the skin. When looking through, this will be right on the front of my forehead, just above my forehead. It's right there. You can see those numbers and letters right there. Not too visible. We'll see how that goes when it's on my head. I just finished cutting them out. I'm have to clean up all this stuff. Took an hour and 50 minutes to cut out 12 partials. There are bits of white on this. I should get rid of the light shining directly off. It's making it extremely shiny, which is a concern. I don't want it that shiny. You know? Imagine if that was my scalp shining back like that. It does look very shiny though, doesn't it? It's a bit of a concern. See if I've got an old piece of poly in this box over here. That might be a plus sign for lace. Obviously, lace will not shine reflectively like that. Obviously, that would be very embarrassing. But shone like that every time you're under bright lights. I'm hoping this density is enough. It seems medium density. Hopefully it'll be alright. I will be bleaching these next. Don't have 0.03 millimeter sample that I could show you, but there's French lace compared to 0.06 poly. I should probably go through these papers with you. These are the things that came in the box from Lordhair. 3 Weeks for Kids program. Do you know a child under the age of 12 in need of a wig? Are they suffering from a medical condition that is causing them to lose hair? Read that in your own time. It doesn't relate to what I go through. It's great that they do that. Super Skin V product manual. Freeze the video and read it if you want to. I'll just read through these ones here. Prepare the new system. Cut the base down to your size. Cut off the extra skin along the very front of the hairline. Wet the hair before cutting the extra skin. This makes it easier to avoid cutting the hair. If you do accidentally cut the hair, then shorter pieces of hair will hang down over the front hairline, making it look unnatural. You can read these things as well. And then this is the other one. Share your transformation at Lordhair.com. And these are the deals they're giving you. A $50 coupon code if you send us your before and after photos. a $100 coupon code if you make a review video and send us your before and after photos. A free hair system if you make a video showing how you attach, remove, maintain your hair system and send us your before and after photos. Or if you make a video of yourself doing some form of physical activity in your hair system, where you're swimming, running, working out, etc. So there you go. Lordhair has the offers. Let's hope that this lasts me a year and I'm happy with it. The next step is to bleach the roots right along the front of every one of these hair pieces using peroxide. Now we talk about custom pieces occasionally. These are all stock pieces that I've cut out, so I get these partials. I'm trying to get 2 out of every single hair piece. Now you see that pile of hair is the amount that'll be useful to me, and here are the offcuts that I am throwing in the bin. This is why people want to order. So this is in the bin, 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 in the bin. Right there, that's probably about, what did you say, $300 worth of hair pieces? That's $300 in the bin. That's why people want to order custom, so there's less wastage and you get the most for your money. Let's just hope that the back halves of these hair pieces are useful to me. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is bleach it, the next thing I'm going to do is bleach it. L1++ 9 levels of lift, L1+ 8 levels of lift. Which one am I going to choose? Doesn't matter, they'll be both fine. It's all peroxide, it'll do a good job. Hopefully they've continued to use hair dye in the manufacture process of these hair pieces. If not, I'm fucked. I'm going to wet them and then brush them so that they can be laid out neatly and I can aim that peroxide better. Processing time should not exceed 45 minutes. So I just want to really lighten it. I don't want it to go blonde. So, well, I sort of do a little bit, but not so much that there's a fucking crazy amount of discrepancy, like a straight line across or some crazy shit. Okay, so gloves, won't use those. Color after treatment, chuck that in the shower. Blonde booster, put that in last. First step is take this lightening cream and add it to this applicator bottle with development lotion. Metal seal, sharp lid point, open. Okay, squeezing this in. Purple. There's the line it says to cut across. I'm going to shake that down so it doesn't puff out. Please read directions, blah blah blah. When you finish shaking it, the top edge is going to be a bit useless up here, so squirt that shit out to get to the good stuff. Okay, let's go. Okay, it's currently not ticking, so this would be a bad. I was actually thinking about getting an iWatch. They're about $600, but the batteries only last for 18 hours. This lasted for probably 5 years battery life, so I just get the battery replaced on this instead of getting an iWatch. But I need a better clock, so let's look at the wall clock over here. 17:35. Okay, so let's assume we'll start the timer at 17:40, at which time hopefully I'll have done all of these. Let's have a look. So it's really, I've fucked up with the recording. This is all done by hand. Obviously the company should have made it blonde and then bleached this. I'm doing it backwards, but there's no other way for me to do it that I know of. I could have bought blonde hair pieces and then tried to dye it my hair color and tried to match my own hair color on my head with whatever the hell the color they provide is. But really, we shouldn't have to do this, any of it. If you are getting a hairpiece that's your color, at least ask them to nicely bleach the roots at the front. Hopefully I won't leave it overexposed. That one started at 17:35. It's now 17:49. It's very fucking hard to hold this camera. All right, so at 17:55, I'll rinse that one off. That'll be 20 minutes then for that one. This, I only got through 11, that one, there wasn't enough bleach left. So I will try to not fucking bleach too much blonde into the front here, otherwise it'll fuck it up. And I'll be able to show you that one as a comparison of what the roots look like on the porcelain white of the sink in comparison to one of these. Let's really hope I get the right amount of timing. I don't have any more bleach left. I'd have to open that other box if I'm not going to do that. Okay, so it's now 17:54 and I don't know how many seconds. So I'm going to start lifting this one off the floor and I'm going to rinse it off. 17:55 now. Okay, so this has been over 20 minutes. Doesn't look bleached at all. It's not good that I just put all that bleach all the way through it like that. This will have to become a non-bleached one. The pity or the front end. So once again, as consumers, we should not be having to do this. That is what my front hairline would look like. Okay, that's after 20 minutes of bleaching at the hairline. Let's grab this one, which hasn't had any bleach at all. I'll put them facing each other so they're right next to each other, okay? This one has had no bleach at all, and this one's been bleached at the front for 20 minutes. Both are completely unacceptable. Okay? The roots are just massively visible. So I'm going to leave it for another 10 minutes up until 17:65. That'll have been about 30 minutes on that one. I assume I shouldn't go further than 30 minutes, but we'll have a look. Because those ones were done later, right? That one was only second in line, so that one will be the next one to be checked at the 30-minute mark, which will be 17:65. Obviously that doesn't exist, so we'll go 18:05. My first video on this channel was August 5, 2011. It's now June 24, 2021. So I'm about a month short of having 10 years experience, and in that experience I can tell you this: if this shit doesn't make a hairpiece blonde, then the company's using hair dye. Clothing dye, sorry. They need to be using hair dye. So I'm going to look at this one. It's now been exposed, 16:05 now, for 30 minutes. 30 minutes is enough to see lightning, that's for sure. I'm going to shake this off and brush it and lay it down next to the control piece. So this is the one I just bleached for 30 minutes, and this is the one that wasn't bleached at all. It's really hard to tell in this lighting. So just in room lighting, that is completely unbleached, and this one's been bleached for 30 minutes. Side by side. Just checking if there's blonding, and it appears that there is. So good old Lordhair has not sold out on us completely. That will look somewhat better than that at the front hairline. So I can probably go ahead and start rinsing off the others at 30-minute mark now. But unfortunately the roots are still completely visible. But at least they're a bit blonder at the front there. If we look at the back where it wasn't bleached, we can compare directly on the same partial. Hard to tell with a certain light, isn't it? But I feel like it is blonder, so we'll go through them. Okay, so I've picked them all up, I've rinsed them off. It's 18, 13. You can squeeze in this after color treatment conditioner and put it all through. So there are 10 hair pieces which I've brushed from the back where I'll be placing my hairpiece down to the front hairline at this end where it's blonde. So they're ready for me to put on. On the left is bleached for 30 minutes and on the right is unbleached. And I'm very happy to say that Lordhair are still using hair dye. Otherwise I would leave them. That's why I left some other companies. You cannot bleach clothing dye in any way that I know of. So they can't use peroxide. Okay, so I'm gonna put these on my skin now so we can compare what it would look like on a scalp. Unbleached, bleached, 30 minutes. This end back here was not bleached. But I'm happy to say also that this is the Auschwitz tag right here, which is barely visible. As you saw in the previous video with Hairbro, they have a crazy amount of ink shining all the way through. It's almost imperceivable the way Lordhair have placed that Auschwitz tag there. If I flip it, you'll see it. So it's not too bad. I wish they didn't do it, of course. And also, it looks like I will be able to use this because all the hairs seem to be stitched in one direction. Just as I thought I saw from the back here, you can see the sort of the little lines traveling in a certain direction. I was hoping this would be the way it is. Obviously at the back, the hair's going to go all crowny and heading off in multiple directions. There'll be a tuft at the top there where it meets my perimeter. But here at the front hairline, it looks like they're all going to go very well towards the front. So I'm very happy with this order. I don't know yet whether or not 0.06 millimeter thick poly is too thick or if it's good enough. We'll find out. In all likelihood, I won't be going for longevity because I can never be bothered cleaning glue off things, because glue does encroach around the edges after a while, and then you've got to C22 and stuff. But I shouldn't throw them away because I'm sure these will last a long time. So with 12 hair pieces, 1, 2, plus 10, that should give me at least a year, which means you're not going to get too many reviews from other companies in the meantime. I tried to reach out to some of them. We'll see if any of them respond, but otherwise I'll probably be wearing 0.06 millimeter poly for the next year or so. Look at these straight lines. Let's hope it works when it's on my head properly. Just trying to see how the skin transitions into this stuff. That's still hair under there. This one, the one I just put on my face, has been bleached. This one's drier a bit, so it's very difficult to tell the difference between colours when you've got a wet one and a dry one. Also, the poly material itself looks very shiny. I'm a bit worried about the shininess. That's the back end. Okay, so this one was the one that was the control that has not been bleached at all. It's extremely shiny, isn't it? See that bit there? So that's unbleached. Press it in so you can see. Let's hope this bleaching process has actually achieved anything at all. So we go from that to that. 1, 2. 1, 2. It's like the Jafar episode of the Family Guy. Okay. Hey baby, how you doing? Hairbro. 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 Hey baby, how you doing? Hey bro. Hey bro. We'll try it with a hairbrush. Okay? This is this hairbrush here. It's pretty clean of hairs, right? Can't see any hairs really in there. Maybe one hair. Let's see what happens if I brush the Hairbro hairpiece. Very dirty along that front hairline. What do you think of this hairpiece, huh? Not as many hairs as when I use my hand. So I guess you could say I was cheating. Now in terms of hairline cleanup, let's see if just blood, no, just tissue works on its own. What I want to see here is when you do pull it out, look at, why is it there ridges along there? Why isn't it just flat? Because I know my skin under there is just completely smooth. Okay, so when I pull a hair out, let's see what's happening really. I'm not meaning to, like you see, I'm not really yanking it. I think basically it's not held in by the plastic sandwich tight enough. That's what they've done wrong. So it's just pulling out like it's not tight in at all. Hairbro. 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 Hairbro hairpiece. Hairbro.com. Hairbro. Hairbro hairpieces. See close up what's going on with that. Hairbro hairpieces. Such a weird base material that they've used here, isn't it? Now, I've asked before, this is actually a good way for me to figure out what the fuck's going on with getting all glue and shit. through the material. Why does poly get dirty on the outside? Now, no glue has ever touched any of this. This is a 0.03 millimeter poly from hairbro.com. See what happens when I just... So when I pull on it gently, the reason they're coming out is because they're going out. If I pull on it hard, it will probably rip, because I've got a grip on both sides. But yeah, you can see it sort of de-threading itself as I do that. But the thing I was just asking about was the glue. Why does it feel sticky here? Why is that all sticky? There's never been any glue placed here. And I believe the reason is that poly, well, whatever poly they've made this one out of, is porous. So potentially that's caused the ridging. There's no way for the glue to have got from there to back here. And up here it's dry, here it's wet. Let's see what's going on up here. This is called shedding. It should not happen. Usually you just pull out an excess one and it wasn't gripped in tight enough and it just goes away and the others will just stay where they are. But this hairpiece disintegrates until it's gone. There's no... It looks like it's biodegraded right there on my scalp. It's a very strange polyurethane that they've made out of all natural materials or something. It's totally dissolved. I didn't realize that poly from different companies was made out of different types of plastic. It's come through. Potentially, this is why the acetone totally dissolved this one, whereas that commenter said they were able to do it without any real problems. It's quite disgusting to feel it on the outside here. It was very sticky and covered in glue. Anyway, I think I answered my questions there. Not fully though, because I'm curious as to know which type of poly a certain company is using. It's never mentioned, is it? It's just thin skin V. Doesn't actually state what the base plastic formula was. Now, if you were interested to see if my experimental hair ripping out that one time when I wore a hairpiece over the top of my real hair ever grew back, you can kind of see what's there now in terms, I'm sort of, feels like I'm ripping out hairs right now actually when I'm doing this, because I only put this glue on a couple of days ago. But I didn't clean the under layer because I knew this hairpiece was going to be discarded as soon as I got these new ones. Okay, so you can see the regrowth that I've got there. I can't really tell where the bald patches are or if it's gone forever from that waxing. It feels like about 100 hairs of missing, but I may have just gone bald at the front. At any rate, that island of hair was not very strong in the first place, so this would have all gradually disappeared. This bit is next, and then it meets up in the middle, male pattern baldness. Not the worst illness you could possibly have. I felt for the COVID victims dying of suffocation. I mean, we just say the words COVID-19. It's not a proper grasp of what this death actually is. Imagine having an illness that can kill you within a week, within 2 weeks. It is suffocation. Now, try breathing through a straw for as long as you can. And then imagine not being able to choose taking that straw out of your mouth and just breathing big gulps of air. Suffocation is a bad way to go. I don't know why people say that drowning is, well, it's just relaxing. I don't think it would be relaxing. I don't know why people say that at all. That doesn't sound right. Sounds like you panic and go fucking nuts. I'm gonna put some C22 on here, get rid of white glue up there. So yeah, even without considering your own safety for COVID-19, just give a thought to the people who've suffered through it and, you know, potentially just died. Not because of the words COVID-19, but because they suffocated to death. They couldn't fucking get enough air. Bad way to go. Bad way. I highly recommend you do try to just find a straw and breathe through it. Stick it up one nostril, block your mouth another nostril, and try to survive on that for, we'll say, try 60 seconds. Good luck. Don't hold your breath. If you think you can do it for 60 seconds easy, do it for 5 minutes. Nature's cruel. Nature's terribly cruel. There are some creatures who are parasites, who are eggs, born as eggs and develop as larvae inside the brain or something of a caterpillar, and then control the caterpillar's mind or something. It's a very strange thing, a parasite. I'm gonna wet my hair. Scanning for imperfections. This seems very sparse. Now, on the Hairbro system, the hairs are being pulled out easily. On this one, it feels like they're sort of tight, but, you know, potentially I'll lose the slack as I get that length. If it was shorter, potentially it'd be easier to tug them out, but I don't think most hairpieces tug out as easily. Don't know what that is. Might be a piece of glue. Certainly isn't a follicle. All right, I'll cut it. Yeah, it just feels very thin. A bit worried about seeing those. Oh fuck, you can see right through it already. Can you see those lines? That's very bad. Straight. Look at that. Look at those lines. Doesn't look real, does it? Does appear to be a little bit lighter, blonder towards the front, thankfully. But I can see some like realism in there, that's for sure. I mean, this is what natural hair looks like where it meets the scalp. And this is what this hair looks like when it meets the scalp. So those lines, You can't do anything if it's not blonde to start with. It's got to be blonde to start with. I've never done it before, but I've got potentially 12 months supply of this stuff. So maybe next time I'll get a blonde hairpiece. Maybe before that time comes. Hopefully I just won't be embarrassed walking around and paranoid with this hairpiece. It feels very thin, not medium density. It feels like medium light density now, which is a problem. It allows you to see into the scalp. And if the scalp isn't good, then it fails. Medium light density does match my erosion up here. But the root has to be perfect. Once again, I'm just guessing based on this length, just trying to get longer towards the front. I don't measure things in terms of where the fuck are you? There we go. All right. Please, 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 please. Please look real. Straight lines, it's fucked. You can't bleach in under the plastic, can you? There's no way to even brush it to the side and hide it. It's so thin in terms of its density that I cannot. So all for the next year, it's always going to be like that. There's nothing I can do. Can't send it back now. Thanks, Lordhair. Again. .06. Those lines are absolute doll's hair. All I can hope for is that when it dries, it buffs out a bit, but I can't see any way that's going to happen. Those straight lines, god damn it. I'm going to show you a close up with the fucking other camera so you can get a close zoom on this shit, okay? These are the lines I'm talking about. If you think that's real, there's something seriously wrong with you. I can't think of a way to disguise this. Yeah, medium light density with really unbleachable under the poly. Okay, so does that fade in nicer with my actual balding over here? I can't see what I'm filming here, but I'll turn around. Don't even know which of these two cameras you are. That one or that one, don't know. I was really hoping that I could achieve a brush back look with this next batch of hair pieces. Looking at the thickness of 0.606 as opposed to 0.03, it's fine. I don't see much of a difference. You might as well buy 0.06. So all that advice I've been giving about 0.03 seems to be in vain. you can get 0.06. There's whiteness happening here underneath. I don't know, because maybe that's just because I glued that bit last and the glue and stuff has yet to dry a bit. Oh no, that's not it. That's the Auschwitz tag showing through. The Auschwitz tag is not too bad as far as I can see. What is bad though, and which is something I can't change, is those straight lines. When you stitch, if you're, I don't know which fucking camera you want. I'm gonna switch it back around, alright? If you're a hair company and you make hair pieces, I guess even if you were to make a blonde hair piece, it's probably best if your people are able to do this just as quickly, instead of going line all the way along, stagger it like a chessboard. If you stagger, not like a chessboard, like something that's not uniform, random, but still fill it in. You know what I mean? Don't make straight lines. It's always stitch in the same direction. You don't want to be stitching that way and then that way. No. I'm talking about line. I know that it's, you know, systematic and, you know, you want to get through thousands of them. Potentially, if you did the blonde hair piece and then you dyed it afterwards, nobody would see it. But as this is dark against pale skin, it's fucking clear to see, and there's nothing I can fucking do about it. I got a 1 year supply that I just bought from you. So, does it shed easily? No, not at all. Not seeing any shedding. Check. Is the Auschwitz tag a pain in the ass? No, it's not too bad, but don't fucking put it there in the first place. Or make it a sticker that we can peel off easily. I know you don't want to fall off easily, but just fucking, I don't know what to do. Just don't put it on. Put it on the outer edge, on the very outer edge, the bit that you know we're going to cut off. There you go. Fixed. Problem solved. On that little flappy vagina bit on the edge. You know we're going to cut that off, right? So put it right fucking there. Perfect. Why wouldn't you do that? That's fucking obvious, isn't it? Just these fucking lines, man. This is crazy. I'm very impressed. Lordhair, well done for fucking stitching the back. This is the back of the hairpiece. So for partial wearers like me, given that you don't provide stock partials, rectangles, you did it custom. You offered a custom option to get it done. Brilliant. But remember that disaster of the lace rectangle, absolutely not even knotted in, just sitting as V-loops in lace. So the moment you take it off your glue, the hairs stay and the lace lifts off. What the fuck were you thinking? The poly one was alright. It didn't seem to have these extreme lines like this. I might still have one. No, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think it's gone. They're all gone. I use them. But you saw the waist stitch. So this is in the bin, 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 in the bin. Anyway, you saw the waist stitch earlier in this video. It's in the bag now. Just in case I want to experiment with hair pieces. Shit, I don't know. But that's about $300 or $400 worth of hair that I had to throw away. It's not good for partial wearers. And when I say partial wearers, I mean men who are balding or people who are balding. Don't you think there are more people in the world who are balding than fully bald? Let me think. People who are starting to bald are balding, they're not fully bald. People who are in the middle of balding are still partially bald, they're not fully bald. They need partials, not full caps. People receding at the temples here, you see them all the time. They're fucking everywhere, right? Full baldness, not that common. Don't see it everywhere. You see like one in maybe 20 dudes maximum who are fully fucking bald, and they're old enough to have lost all of that, okay? In the beginning, get them in young. Fucking start making some cashola, you fucking morons. That bit there needs to be filled in. How are they gonna do it? Buy a dome and do all the shit that I have to endure? Don't make the next generation of hair wearers have to endure that. Just make the rectangles, okay? Either you or another company. Whoever does it is gonna get some big fucking money, all right? Secondly, make all your hair pieces blonde, whether it's lace or poly, okay? Make them all blonde, 100% of them. Figure out a way to dip them or dye them after they've been put into the netting or the fucking poly in such a way that the base does not get coloured, so it remains clear. Or figure out a way to, I don't know, take all the V-loops, right? But I don't know how the stitching process really works. If it's going to be an exact V, well then you know that bit at the bottom is going to be the root, don't you? So take all those hairs, fold them in half like this, hold them, dip them all. Okay, they're blonde to start with, right? Or if they're not blonde, if they're brown, dip them in peroxide, right? That like that. Wait for 30 minutes, right? Then sew them and then make sure that it lands where the blonde is inside the poly that you just stitched it into. If that's the easiest way, do it that way. Whatever you do, don't fucking sell people any more bullshit with visible knots or visible roots. It's a joke, and you've been told 100,000 times. Everybody hates it. Everybody. Okay? It's a fucking joke. I don't know what the fuck you people are doing. It's not just you, it's everyone in the entire industry, all the hair companies. I don't know, you're waiting for some competitor to do it first, and so you can copy them, and then you'll do it, because you'll lose your company if you don't. All right? Because nobody's going to be wanting to buy, oh, I'd like the one with the dark roots, please. We sell invisible roots, we sell invisible roots, we sell invisible roots, we sell invisible roots. You don't sell invisible roots because you're like, no, we're not going to sell invisible roots. Nobody wants invisible roots. We all want highly visible roots. I am praying that this, when it fluffs out, is going to give me the proper coverage I need, but even the tiniest wisp, this very, very, very low density fucking hairpiece, it looks like there's not going to be anything. Even the smallest smidgen of fucking hair product is going to separate the hairs in such a way that you'll be able to see in and see those fucking straight, crazy lines. So what the fuck? Am I pissed off? No. I'm too broken-hearted to be extremely pissed off, all right? Disappointment is an understatement. But, Jesus, what the fuck? It's a joke. We need blonde roots. Blonde roots. Blonde roots. Figure the fucking thing out, you dickheads. Fucking figure it out. All right, okay, that's a bit more than broken-hearted. All right, now, listen. Don't take offense from words, okay? Think of the money. Everyone will want it. And people want partials as well. You saw the shit I just had to fucking endure. It was like 6 hours of fucking work to fix your shit. For those of you who are buying hair as consumers, which is 99% of you, right? On the Lordhair website, when you're choosing the hair you want, you can say $20, check, I want you to cut it for me. $20, cut the stencil out for me. $20, check, I want you to cut it in this particular style, like the guy in this photograph for me. Check. Now, Lordhair, if you really must make this a big deal, right? Give us a box that says, do you want us to make the roots invisible? Yes, fucking $20. Yes, I'd like the roots invisible. Minimum. Okay? And not just the front like I tried to do. It's got to be deep in under the poly, right? And in terms of lace, don't go, oh, we tried. And then there's black fucking dead ants squished all over people's heads. It's cruel. You're the only people in the world who fucking doing it, right? Well, you hair industry people. It's not like, oh yeah, because of COVID, we're not able to do things anymore. Like, you never did it in the first place when everything was healthy. So don't fucking bullshit. I put a request out to everybody watching this video. If you know a company that guarantees invisible roots, please write it in the comments below. Thank you. I thought I'd try to make myself look presentable for the end of this video, even though I'm disgusted by what I've had to endure here. So I put some hairspray in my hair. If you lock it into position, potentially you can fucking force the hairs to cover what it can in this very low density scenario. Don't want to get rid of this fucking beard as well. There's a bit of razor missing there. That fucking hurts on the edge there. I wanted to get rid of this. That is probably dangerous. Anyway, I'm out of money, so I won't be getting a new one of these anytime soon. A bit less like a bum. It's 50% of the way between the bottom of my earlobe and the bottom of my tragus.